This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com. Jump down to Championship Wrestling from Florida on the 11th. It's going to be a show in Miami Beach, the convention hall. It's Dusty and Wahoo on one side against Ole and Arn on the other. What was that like working for the Graham outfit here in Miami against Dusty and Wahoo?
Well, it was new to me because I had never worked that territory. So I was just coming in with Jim Crockett Promotions. That territory, the Florida territory, had a great reputation with the boys, that it was a good place to live. Obviously, you lived in Tampa, and you made the shots out of Tampa all over the state of Florida. And it was just, especially if it was a young guy breaking in the business that wasn't married. I mean, how cool is it to go to all these towns in Florida and, just enjoy Florida itself. It's a destination. It really was. So to be down there with all the history of the territory and the Grahams and all the guys, Dusty, that had passed through there, the Funks, the Briscoes, all that talent that had worked the territory itself, to be in some of those arenas was pretty cool for me because I knew the history.
What'd you think of Miami? You grew up making towns in Pensacola and you love that beach, but that Miami Beach is a different speed, is it not?
Well, you got to look at the way it was scheduled and pretty much the way it was. If it was a situation where I think you did TV in the morning in Tampa, and then you had to jump in the car and drive to Miami, which was right around 300 miles. And then you would have to drive back after the show because notoriously the way they had it scheduled, you would have a town north of Tampa running the next day. So it wasn't like you were making a loop. You went down and back. That was a pretty full day. And, I think the time that we ran that, I'm not sure, but I thought we did a TV that afternoon too. Maybe not, but still, it's a pretty good haul down there. And like everything else, it's not like we just went over to South Beach and hung out afterwards. We were probably traveling somewhere else, so we didn't get a chance to enjoy Miami. But, for the guys that work the territory, I'm sure they would schedule it sometimes to just go down maybe a day early. I don't know. Not really, but it was, it's always cool to be in Florida.
The card is pretty impressive when you think about it. It's Coco Samoa and Jack Hart in the opening match, Hector Guerrero and Kendall Windham teaming up against the Grappler and Rip Oliver. Then Mike Graham and Rick Rude going to a draw. Buddy Rose working with Frank Lang. Magnum TA is going to wrestle Tully Blanchard to a draw. Then we've got Dusty and Wahoo in there with you and Ole. And your main event is Flair versus Billy Jack Haynes. I don't know, man. It just feels like you guys could have had some fun if given the opportunity in Miami. After the shows in this era, are you going straight back to the hotel? Do you feel like, obviously it's 85. Is it designated baby faces stay in this hotel, heels stay in that hotel, even when you're on the road like this?
Well, again, I would think that after that show, either we had a flight or...
Oh, you didn't even think you stayed the night. You think you were right back.
Well, we either jumped in the car and drove back, and you may have a record of what the next show was.
Yeah. The next day you're in Columbia, South Carolina. So that would be a hell of a drive from Miami to Columbia.
Yeah. So I can guarantee you what we did. We checked in by the airport and the Marriott there, and we would have probably went down, had some drinks in the bar at the Marriott, which was a regular thing. That crew that you just laid out on the card for that sounds like a bunch of leftover from maybe the guys that worked the territory, because those guys were not Jim Crockett guys.
It was a Championship Wrestling from Florida show.
We just came down and beefed it up a little bit.
You got it.
Yeah. So we would have probably hung with ourselves. I'm sure some of those guys from the card would have came to the Marriott. Next thing we would have done, we would have flown out very early, because you wouldn't have flown to Columbia. You would have flown to Charlotte.
Time out. Let me ask real fast. I was trying to get into the psychology of, or the thinking in 85. after the matches, it's not like only Flair wants to have a drink. So does Wahoo and Dusty, but it's not like in 85, everybody's just going to be rubbing elbows at the Marriott bar, or are they? What does that look like if guys want to blow off some steam after a show, but we've still got to quote unquote keep kayfabe because we got good guys and bad guys here?
You know, and at that point in time, we were all Marriott guys, and I assure you, we would have all probably been. It was a pretty big bar at that Marriott, and what we would have done, other than go to a different place, we were all in the same bar, but separated as much you can be separated, away from each other, but still be under the same roof.
Got it.
And that's the way it was, and that's the way you took care of it. And because we're all Marriott guys, and location was everything, because it was right at the airport. You had an early flight. There was logistics. That was the reason. But
Yeah.
we would still, you know, you wouldn't go, oh God, there they are. We can't go in there. It started to morph a little bit at that point.
September 12th, the next day, as we mentioned, you're in Columbia and you're in the main event. It's going to be Dusty, Magnum, and Manny taking on Tully, Ole, and Arn. On the 12th, they're running shows in Wheeling, West Virginia. On the 13th, there's two shows, one in Oxford, Alabama, but that's really a continental show, just Flair taking on Brad Armstrong. But we have a JCP show at the Fieldhouse in Williamson, West Virginia. On the 14th, we're in Columbus, Georgia. And then we're doing TV again on the 15th in Atlanta. Later that night on the 15th, there are three shows. Of course, we're going to have a matinee squeezed in there. But College Park, Georgia is going to see Ron Garvin and Black Bart on top. Norfolk, Virginia is going to see Dusty, Magnum, and Sam Houston taking on Tully, Ole, and Arn once again in a bunkhouse match. I get it. It's a wrestling podcast, but he's saving us money on our mortgage. Do you really trust this process? The reviews don't lie. 5-star review after 5-star review. We make it fast, we make it easy, and it's no cost or obligation. Give us a shot to earn your business. I'm telling you, you'll be glad you did, especially if you like keeping more of your own money. You don't need perfect credit or money out of your pocket. So what are you waiting for? Hurry to savewithconrad.com. That's the other thing I wanted to give Ole some credit for. You know, he's trying to set up matches, obviously, for the house shows and to sell tickets, but you guys have so much going on. You know, you got the rock and rolls, and now you got the Sam Houston thing, and who could forget the Dusty and Magnum thing, and Tully's a little involved there. A lot of moving parts here. Dorton Arena, September 4th, you're in singles action against Sam Houston. On the 8th, it's going to be Magnum, Manny, and Ron Bass taking on Tully, Ole, and Arn. Another bunkhouse match. This time it's a matinee in Asheville on September 8th. There was another matinee that same day on September 8th as the promotion continues to grow. This time it's at Albany, Georgia at the Civic Center. But that night, Marietta, Georgia is the evening show. On the 9th, once again, a pair of shows, an A and a B. One show in Greenville, South Carolina. That's where you would find Ole and Arn taking on Flair and Magnum, or not Flair, but Dusty and Magnum. And then on the 9th, that same day, they're running Augusta, Georgia. And how about this for a main event? Black Bart versus Ron Garvin. I think I would have rather been in Greenville.
No disrespect, but I'm glad I was.
I want to mention. Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at savewithconrad.com.